Canadian Pacific Railroad was designed as a link to bind the country of Canada together. The company behind the railroad, Canadian Pacific, soon became the advertising engine behind Canada's first branding campaign. As the first creative director of Canada's brand, William Van Horn's famous marketing directive was, if we can't export the scenery, we'll have to import the tourists. To communicate the majesty of the country, Van Horn hired the Noth company in Montreal, and they toured all through Canada. And these photos were used as a basis for posters and brochures. The idea of Van Horn was to compete with Switzerland and the Alps. Some publicities declared the Rockies were like 25 or 30 or even 50 times Switzerland. The company efforts established key lakes and mountains and wilderness as iconic symbols of Canada. You had some fantastic hotels like the Banff Springs and Lake Louise, where you had some breathtaking views. This started some postcard image of Canada. The landscape, the scenery, is much more emphasized than the hotel. And on some posters, you even don't have a view of the hotel. You look from inside, outside on the scenery. Very quickly, both foreigners and Canadians were identifying the richness of Canadian nature with the Canadian Pacific. The next step taken by the company was, of course, to try to attract other people than the real upper class. And one way was to develop some camps and activities. There were dozens of fabulous posters trying to attract skiers. One campaign was called Shoot Big Game, trying to attract people with killing animals, any animal you wanted. Birds, moose, bears, fishing was big. This multiplication of posters showing all these animals that you could see and even kill gave an image of Canada that is still, I think, in existence. The closing of the Montreal silkscreen studio in 1972 really symbolized the end of a remarkable era for the Canadian Pacific as part of Canada's brand. Over almost 100 years, Canadian Pacific had released thousands of posters and hundreds of thousands of brochures in support of a romanticized vision of a new nation. Maybe only Coca-Cola had an equivalent output of posters material during that time, and not even of the same quality. Canadian Pacific provided both itself and Canada with a seductive image. The company introduced a dreamlike vision of both the destinations and the means of transportation to get there.